All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? It is Wednesday morning here in Sydney, Australia, 10 a.m. Hopefully, everyone's doing well. The book that I use down here in Sydney, still doesn't have a lot of fights, but we'll talk about them. If you guys are members of our professional betting academy, our Johnny Says Boxing VIP Discord, I've released 3 tickets so far. 3 tickets are live on our Patreon. They're also live on YouTube under the members only section. I've given you my prop of the week, my dog of the week. I also gave you my UFC 4-leg parlay, all plus money. I do have to say, though, I've been accused of doing this in the past by some people on Twitter. I posted yesterday, so almost 24 hours ago, I posted my dog of the week. I got him at plus 140. He's now the favorite. I don't know how that would work. But if you didn't jump on him when he was at plus money, I don't know what to tell you, but that's my dog of the week. He's now a favorite, which is crazy. It's a 50-50 fight. I thought plus 140 was too insane to pass up. So we'll see how that one plays out. If you're not a member, click this link that's pinned. It's a couple dollars a month. Become a Johnny Says Boxing VIP on YouTube. You get elevated live stream status. You get all my picks. You get members only content, members only videos, members only shorts, and you get access to the Discord. Also, click the link to become a Patreon. I do members only live streams on the Patreon, and there you get all my slips as well. You also get access to the Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. And because our book isn't offering all the fights yet, I don't know how long I'm going to stay on. There are UFC fights to talk about. I'll leave it open to you guys to see how long you want to do this. You have a lot of questions for me. Feel free to ask. You should know where my money's going with Adames. I have Adames on the money line. I have Adames on points on 2 separate tickets. The UFC parlay, the 4-legger, right now there's two big favorites, and then 2 of the picks are kind of 50-50 fights. I'm going to be giving you at least, so you have 3 tickets now. I'm going to be giving you at least 4 more, probably 5 more. Last week, I only gave you 7. The week before, I gave you 10. And it's not something that I sit and strive to do in terms of the amount of tickets I give out. It literally depends on what I see, what I like. This is advice to any of you guys out there who are learning how to make money off of betting on fights, is don't force anything. It's something that I wanted to talk about today. I'll never look at the book and feel that I have to have action. You know what I'm saying? There was that Japanese card late last weekend with Nonito Donaire, and we had a massive weekend already. We went 100% on the Pro Box card. We went 100% in Montreal. All the weeks are leading into each other. The only fight we missed 1 money line fight. And by the time we got to the Japanese card, everybody in the Discord was like, Johnny, who you got? I was like, I'm not doing anything, dude. Like, I was burned out. If you find yourself betting on, and this is why UFC boys don't win consistently, or I see guys in our UFC Discord, and they get salty because they lose, because every UFC card you have 12 fights. If you're betting every fight, trying to pick a winner every fight, you're going to lose. The odds are not in your favor. So I suggest to you, don't force it. If you don't like a fight, if you don't like an outcome, if you don't like the odds, don't bet on it. And don't feel, especially on those UFC cards, because there's another one this weekend. And if you're in our Discord and we're doing live fighting, don't feel you have to bet on every single UFC fight. That is a trick the bookies play. That is a trick the betting apps play to get you to lose your money. Because you might win the first 3 and you're on a heater, and then you're up whatever your wallet is, and then you put it all on one fight, and then you lose, and then you're pissed and you're salty. And I can tell you're salty by the way you start talking shit to people in the Discord. So just be aware of these things. Be aware of these trends. Have some boundaries in how you gamble, and create strategies on how to win. A strategy on winning, the best bet is the one you don't make. It's exactly what I mean. The best bet is the one you don't make. You don't have to gamble on every single fight. If you don't like odds, if you don't like a fight, if you're not interested, don't wager. Christian, Johnny, I'm joining the Discord. Chris, did you join on Patreon or did you join on YouTube? I'm checking right now. Quincy, shout out to all the new Patreons who are in the Discord. We got some newbies. Quincy, Zach, Angel, Ryan, Baby J. Those are new JSB insiders who just signed up on the Patreon. We just got some notifications, some new YouTube JSB insiders, some rejoins. Jose, PJ, Mike from I think Big Parlay joined yesterday. Okay, so Christian, the link is pinned right here, brother. I don't know how to use Discord. You don't have to use it. I never even heard of Discord before the chat asked me to start a Discord. I'll show you what it looks like real quick. So Christian, Layla, this is what Discord is. Like I said, I never used it. I never heard of it. I didn't know what it was until July, and all the boys. So the screen you're watching now, all the boys were like, Johnny, you should do a Discord. Let me remove my face. Okay. All right. So we are currently sitting at, this time last week, we were at 418. We are now at 432 people in our Discord. So just download the app. It's free. Once you become a VIP, I'll send you the link. This is a VIP access only Discord. It's a professional betting academy. So it's not just boxing. It's going to be, so we have bet slips, winning slips. We have a basketball thread. Obviously, football season's over. I do my private one-on-one coaching here. NHL, soccer, baseball, tennis. This is the Aussie section. So for the Aussies, we got the footy, NRL. NRL games tomorrow, boys. AFL tomorrow as well. And then NASCAR, F1. So F1 started. And we kind of have like a general discussion off topic. So the boys kind of chat about whatever they want here. It's really a community, guys. We have live events and boxing. This is our bread and butter. That's the thread I just sent everybody. And MMA. So once you join, you get access to this. It's a community. It's some days it's the only social, other than YouTube and my betting apps, it's the only social media platform I'll use. Is to just go to see what's popping in the Discord. Breaking news, film study. The boys are really educated in there. And we'll have a look at the odds in a second. Guys, as you're tapping in, the live streams are getting busier and busier. Yesterday, we only did one. It was my Tuesday. We peaked at 92, which is great. And I want to thank everybody who liked it because we were over 50 likes. And on Monday, we peaked around 100 people in the live. And I think 50 to 60 likes. So wherever you are, just tap in, like it, however you can support the channel. And Christian. So Christian just joined. Attaboy. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this real quick to get access to the Discord. So Christian, your VIP invite-only Discord link is now, I'm posting it on our members section on YouTube. If you go back to YouTube now, you now have access to a members only section. And Christian, this is where I put all my betting slips. So I'm putting the Discord link in there now. Boom, Discord members. And posted. So yeah, in the members only section on YouTube, because you joined here on YouTube, you'll find the Discord link, and then you'll also find my tickets for the week. Right now, it's only Wednesday, so we're still waiting on the books to give us more fights because there's tons of fights in the UK and America. There's a card down in the Caribbean. Hopefully, we get options to bet on. I think it's one of these WBC cards. We have obviously the card in Orlando, the big one. You'll find all my tickets there. I've given you 3. I'm going to probably give at least 5. All the boys are tapping in. Haven't seen Kush in a while. What's up, Johnny? Wasn't getting the dog of the week on my book. I'll see. Yeah, so I got to be honest with you guys. And you can't be. I don't. This rarely ever happens. But don't blame this on me, what I'm about to tell you. When I did the tape on Jacob and Corey Marksman, Jacob Gomez and Corey Marksman, if you've been on my channel since we'll say last January, for over a year, you would know the name Corey Marksman. We've seen him on cards before. We've won in 2025. I hit him twice on 2 method of victory props, 2 wins by knockout. Now, he's going up against a good fighter, but 2 days ago when the odds came out, they had Corey Marksman at plus 140. So I jumped all over it. So I jumped all over Marksman, just so you know, receipts. This is up on YouTube, plus 140. And part of the reason is I like Marksman. He's a boxer puncher. He's a good counter boxer. He's slick. He has a nice offensive artillery. And, you know, I like how he's been doing, you know, sparring partners with shakurstevenson, bringing Andre Ward into his camp. And he's going up against another young, undefeated guy. One's 5'9", one's 5'8". I just think over time, and Gomez is coming up in weight. He fought a couple times at 35, but he's listed as a 130 pounder. Marksman is a natural, slightly bigger dude. I jumped all over Marksman at plus 140, but now look what he's at. And I mean, people, this isn't my fault. I don't think this is my fault. I just think sometimes the books. So last night, Corey was plus 140. He's now $1.74. And Gomez is the dog. It's totally flip-flopped. And you see this. This happened, what, a month ago on the Zuffa card when Julian Rodriguez he started out as a plus 490 against Sugarcane Sandoval, and we smashed him at plus 490. And by fight night, he was down to, I think, plus 210. He was started off a massive dog, went in as a slight 2-1, and he got the victory. I think the books off Jump got it wrong. So I would take Marksman even at this now. At $1.74, I'd still take Marksman. I'm going to be interested to see where these odds go from here. We'll see. Jacob's good. I don't think he's as good as I'm obviously banking on the fact that he's not as good as Marksman. That's why I have Marksman winning. And when we talk about patterns, I brought this up yesterday on the live stream. Over an extended period of time, you, the bettor, pay attention to who you win with. Pay attention to who you lose with. The longer you're on these sort of channels, my channel, 3D's channel, you'll hear guys use terms like no bet lists or fading. I'll fade him next time, that sort of thing. Also pay attention to fighters that you take who win you money. You know what I'm saying? Arnold Barbosa Jr. has won me money as an underdog multiple times. We took him at plus 340 against Jack Catterall on the money line, and he was a dog against Kenny Sims, and he won us money. I also took him as a dog against Teo. We know he lost that fight. My point is, there's over an extended period of time, you'll have fighters that you'll either ride with, as long as they keep winning. You'll either no bet them, or you'll fade. You know what I'm saying? You'll pick them to lose. And so Marksman right now, he's been good to me. He's been good to us, 2-0. I'm going to ride with you. You've won me money twice. I'm riding with you until you lose money. And these are those trends I was talking about to pay attention to. And the longer you're in the game, you'll be able to recognize these trends. It's not always what you see on paper. It's not always and that's what I try teaching everybody in our betting academy, is teaching you the strategies of how to win money consistently. It's not just knowing the fighters. Knowing the fighters is obviously a major component of how to win, but you also have to know, career trajectory, who they're in camp with, who they're sparring with. There's so many other things, and I always talk about, it's one of the biggest values of the Discord is because throughout fight week, there's just constant conversations on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and come Thursday, Friday, that Discord's constantly 24 hours, 24 hours a day. We're an international community here. Bando Boys from Martinez's last fight has Canelo winning, watching. From Martinez's last fight has Canelo watching both of them, and if he wins, he fights a shot at Canelo. Lester, you're talking, and Canelo wants butt camp. So, Lester is fighting at 68. I don't think, I know Canelo's coming back. Is Canelo the type to take, coming off of a surgery? Is he going to want to have to come off, because we have to think about the current trajectory of Canelo. A really down fight against Skull, a loss against Bud, surgery, time away. You think after that sequence, he's going to come back and fight Lester? I don't see it happening. There's GK. Waiting for him to pop in. Let's go big week. Heavy parlay. I like Lidard. I like Gio. Yes. You know what, GK? And I've been watching some of the YouTubers. People, guys, this seems like one of these fight weeks. You're going to have to be strong in your beliefs in who you think are going to win, because you're getting a lot of noises from left field and right field. Teddy Atlas is picking an underdog here, and so thinks this guy stinks. And Johnny, what do you feel about this prospect? Because I heard so-and-so on that channel said he's overrated. Whatever you see, stick to your guns. Ask questions and stick to your guns. I have Lidard. I think, dude, what I saw against Kieran Conway, I'm a believer. And then you dig a little bit deeper in Lidard, and you look at his camp, and you look at his training, you look at how, the lifestyle the kid lives. It's a good matchup. He's going up against a guy with like double the career pro experience. But, the minute Lidard is going to, Tyler Denny doesn't punch. He's not a puncher. I love that pick. I love Gio in that fight. They're moving Gio along nicely. They're moving him along nicely. He's a good boxer, good athlete. He has a really keen awareness for the boxing ring. I'm high on Gio Vasoli. Carlos Adames, we're going to see levels. I think he makes it look easy against Ammo. Hopefully not too easy, because I got him on points. And then I think Lester's a real deal. I'm a believer. We talked about the adjustments Lester made from rounds 4, rounds 5 onwards against Mbili. I would take Lester to beat Mbili if they fought again, based off of what Lester found out in range. You can't just play Mbili's game for 10 rounds and expect to win. But Lester played Mbili's game for 5 rounds and was losing, and then made an adjustment and changed the distance and changed the range and changed the geography of where the fight was taking place. And some people say he won. So if they fought another 10 rounds, let alone 12 rounds, if that would have been a 12-rounder, you got to think how it was trending. You're giving that fight to Lester. I love this pick. I want to let's do a parlay real quick, see what they add up. So these are money line heavy. If we go money line heavy, Gio, George, Lester, Adames. Yeah, so I like all 4 of these. It's only paying $1.71. So for me, my book's paying $1.75. So I'm waiting for the book to open up. I'm going to have all 4. I'm going to have action on all 4. I just don't know if my action is going to look like this. But, if you got GK has a bankroll on him, a 75% return with a deep bankroll is what you want when you're looking at things like returns, or dare I say ROI. I hate using trading terms when talking about gambling, but trading is gambling, and I get all that. And there are similarities and parallels. And obviously I do this one more over than the other one, but 75%, you put 10 grand on this 4-leg, you get 7,500 back. That's what I'm talking about. It just depends on, and we know in our group, we have guys like that. We have guys who bet 20 grand on similar parlays. We have, we had a Bantam, but we had a guy who bet 50 grand. Without But you know what I'm saying. You know, for the style of how I like to bet, because we have people all over the shop in terms of career experience, understanding of the game. 2026, I say it all the time since the new year started, was a year of value for you boys. I'm living up to it. It's already end of middle March, and we've been on a hot run adding value. So at this stage, I won't release I won't release any parlay that isn't plus money. It's just something that I'm doing. Not to say I wouldn't, you know, I have action on all four of those legs, by the way. Come on. You're giving me way too much. You're giving me way too much credit, mate. I appreciate the kind words, though. Appreciate the kind words. The chat is popping. I'll catch up to everybody. Mike from Melbourne, my guy. What's up, big dog? US viewers, excuses. Only be about 40 to 50 viewers. I'm here. Chat probably got hundreds. Guys, wherever we are in the world, tap in. Like this video. We're flowing between 60 and 80. Let me know how you got here. Christian joined. Welcome to the squad. And you know what? I got to be honest. You guys, the OGs will know what I'm talking about here, but I've watched PJ the promoter grow in the last 5 months in his boxing knowledge, in his confidence of starting conversations about fights, in his betting. And you know, PJ, you were there from day one when we started our Discord, and you know, every relationship starts kind of like hesitantly, but watching you now put all the effort in and engage in, you know, weekly conversations about upcoming fights, and you're learning more and more and more. I say all that to, I woke up this morning, I was looking at this fight. When I was looking at the Kieran Malloy fight, 13-0, minus 1,400. Is he good value? Xavier Collin, 15-2. When you look at those resumes, Xavier Collin really hasn't fought anybody. Kieran Malloy is the guy. He's the A side. But when we're looking at odds, if we're not getting method of victory, if we're not getting an option to pick points or by stoppage or over and under or round props, I'm not going to play with that odds at, like, look what my book says right now, PJ. Let me clear this off. Yeah, a 9%, you know, $100 on Kieran gets you $9. We're gonna have to wait till props drop. Yeah, nothing yet. Props will drop tomorrow, but you know, I gotta say, I was looking at that fight as well. I had their box recs up. I was trying to see tape, and it was on my mind because if we get method of victory props, I'm probably gonna play Kieran Malloy. I won my parlay last week in the dollar of the week, but I did not bet. Beautiful, brother. The only fight. So Christian says I won my parlay last weekend and the dog, but I did not bet on Colin Murphy because people were torn between the two. I played it safe. This is what I want to hear, because everybody in this chat knows that the only money line bet I lost last week, I took Colin Murphy over Jono, and Colin lost a close split decision. You don't have to listen to don't listen to everything I say. You know what I'm saying? This is what we talk about. We have a chat that's educated enough to where the boys can make their own decisions. You could take what I'm saying. If you like it, keep it. If you dislike it, get rid of it. If you disagree, bet against what I'm saying. And worst comes to worst, the best bet you ever make is the one you don't. And in this case, Christian didn't play the Colin Murphy fight, and you know it panned out for him. So I like hearing that. This odds change. He's flipped to a favorite. I was too late. He's not worth. So unless he flips back, yep, dude, that's the general consensus there. You got to maybe do you think we swayed the lines, dude? Do you think that, like, last night, I mean, because 24 hours ago he was at $1.40, now he's the favorite. Do you think that, like, some of the boys jumped in and 10 grand on I think with an obscure fight like that, like an obscure fight, Jacob Gomez and Corey Marksman, you can't. There's probably not too many savages on earth right now who are betting that fight, like right now. So if you get 10 grand coming in on a fighter, I guarantee that changes the odds. Jacob UD, get after it, brother. Good luck now. He's the dog now. Dog hunting. I like the over on the Lester fight. Aleem since 2019 has been giving guys problems. Is your book giving you those options? My thing with Lester though, I think Lester's gonna look good in that fight, man. The Larry Davis, I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to that stuff. GK, he's referring to this. If universe, look, GK, and this is for all the boys in the Discord. Obviously, we don't put up. I don't put up with any of the racism. I don't put up with any of that bullshit, swearing, talking it. Basically, trolling. We're at a stage now where we just kick fools out. I don't care about your money. Like if you're not here to support the game, if you're not here to research, if you're not here to win, if you're not here to become part of our community, we don't all have to get along, but for the most part, it's better if you do. We definitely don't always have to agree, which is great. But if you're in that chat, and this is what I've learned over time since we started it, I can only let trolling last for a short amount of time, and then I have to sit back and see how it's going to pan out. And 99.99% of the time, it's all good. That 0.001% of the time, I kick people out. I've only had to ban maybe 5 people, and it's probably not even who you think who it is. And it's still Tuesday in America, Wednesday in Sydney. By Friday, if these fools are still acting like that, they get silenced. So I've muted Universe before. Like by Friday, when the fights are 24 hours away, notice the chat. The chat, if there's any people talking this weird stuff, they're getting silenced for the week. You just silence them for the weekend. Facts, I'm always confident betting on ABJ. There's no quitting that guy. Yeah, man, there isn't. And he's a good guy. He's one of those reliable guys to go the distance. He's one of those guys to go over. You bet the distance, bet the over. If you like him, bet the decision. So but our sport is filled with guys like this, and this is why me being a conduit of information. A lot of you guys know your stuff. If you could find out one little thing that you didn't know before tuning in, I've done my job. It's what I tell my coaching clients at my gym here in Sydney, my strength and conditioning clients and my boxing clients. I'm going to give you each session a plethora of knowledge. I don't expect you to keep barely any of it. But if you keep one eyelash of information that I've given you today, I've done my job. I look at the same thing with this. We talk about a lot. If you could remember one thing and use it to your advantage, I've done my job. Litter looked amazing, Conway, but Denai does have decent wins. Denny. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a pro. Kieran Conway was a Commonwealth champion, though. Litter will stop Denny. I really rate you guys, dude. You guys sold me on George. I said in my breakdown, if you go to my the Stats Don't Lie video, I said that George Litter was gonna have to prove it to me, because I picked Kieran Conway, and sure enough, Litter proved it to me. I didn't think he was that. He was sharp. He was quick. I didn't think like going into that fight, I was underestimating his reflexes and his ability to basically fluster everything Conway was trying to do by, he outboxed him, he outmaneuvered him, he was angling, he did everything better. They love Eddie says, I don't like Ammo's feet. He can get caught in between his. This is a big talking point for me. When, if you have a fighter, every fighter, guys, have a list of pros and a list of cons. Some fighters have a very evident list of each, some don't. And some fighters list the pros outweigh the cons, and all the media ever talks about are the pros. You know what I'm saying? Great counterboxer, great feet, never gets hit. And nobody ever thought, well, he doesn't really have punching power and he doesn't have power to keep people off him. And so that sort of thing. With Ammo, everybody talks about the aggression, the marketability, everybody talks about the power, but nobody talks about how often he puts himself in vulnerable positions to get countered by over punching, getting over his front foot, being off balance, being out of position. He throws everything at one speed. I obviously question his fight IQ, his track. Like, he's going to be in there with a real high level, world class, world champion operator who's been doing this for a long time. Carlos Adames has many ways to win this fight. Conway to Denny is a step down to me. Ooh, I like it. I like your confidence. Anthony Cuba fights Jair Valtera. Very 50. Look, Cuba's a friend of the show. I talk to him all the time on the gram. He's won us money in the past. You know, only has that one blemish on his resume, in which he looked great against Carmel Mountain. Been super active. I like how active Cuba gets. I like when Cuba. The thing about Cuba is, I just hope he gets a little bit tighter with his game. Like, you know, if he sometimes gets a bit too wide in his game, rather than like here, rather than like here, he's kind of here, and there's a little bit of holes. I think he's young though in the defense, and he could get, but he's a fun guy to watch. And you know me, I love watching prospects, and he's won us money before, and I'm a fan of Anthony Cuba, and I'll be a fan of him. You know, every time he fights, I'm not getting odds on him. I got to check that what my book says. Damn, what book are you getting those odds, mate? Thoughts on Resendez versus Mugia? I thought Resendez and Charlo was official. Oh shit! Give me a second. No effing shit. What is wrong with Charlo, dude? What are we doing here? We got some breaking news, boys. I started this live stream thinking it was Charlo versus Resendez. Sources: Charlo out of May title bout versus Resendez. Mugia in. Jermall Charlo, who was set to challenge Armando Resendez for the WBA super middleweight title on May 2nd, has been pulled from the bout for undisclosed reasons and will be replaced by Jaime Munguia. The Munguia-Resendez fight will serve as the co-main to Zerto Ramirez as he takes on Benavidez. The bout will be part of the PBC pay-per-view Prime Video event that will take place at T-Mobile Arena. Discussions for Resendez to face Charlo in his first title defense began a month ago after a proposed fight against Munguia reportedly fell through. Resendez, who won the interim title with a stunning upset of Caleb Plant last May, was elevated to full champion following the retirement of Bud Crawford in December. Charlo appeared on the same card and stopped Thomas Lamanna to end an 18-month hiatus from boxing. Resendez's win disrupted plans of a fight between Plant and Charlo. After dispatching Plant, Resendez now looks to validate the victory by knocking off another high-profile name in the initial defense of his WBA title. Resendez, 27, became a notable name when he knocked out Jared Hurd in 23, but his momentum took a tumble when he was stopped by Elijah Garcia in the next fight. After getting back to the win column against Paliza, he landed the assignment to face Plant, but was seen as nothing more than an opponent before shocking the former super middleweight champion. Jaime Munguia has not fought since May 2025, when he scored a unanimous decision win over Bruno Sarace. The victory initially was in jeopardy after Munguia tested positive for a banned substance following a post-fight urinalysis, but the failed test was later ruled a false positive. What do we think of this? What do we think of this? Resendez is the naturally smaller guy. You know, he started, you know, fighting at lower weight classes, and dude, he went into the Caleb Plant fight as a plus 900 dog. He ruined all of our parlays, just so you know. Full transparency, man. The boys were salty. We had all, and I've learned a lot since then. Never put a massive favorite on more than one parlay. We had, dude, Caleb Plant was like $1.10. And that weekend we hit everything. And this was, you know, we learn and we make adjustments. And I've never done this since then. So my take-home point from that fight was never put a massive favorite on more than one ticket. And I know I wasn't the only one because the chat was salty, dude. People were dropping F-bombs. That's when you really want to see a Reddit thread, go to our Discord when we lose. This is, you know, but we're getting better at it. We're getting better. We didn't have the Discord, but we were online. We were in the boxing forums. And when Resendez beat Plant, man, he ruined a lot of tickets, boy. I think Denny got to give him a hard fight. Good litter, not Shiraz. Mike Conlon by decision. -106 could be a safer bet than most think. Yes, Chin is questionable. The fight is in Belfast. His opponent never been knocked out. His opponent's an 18-0 undefeated fighter from Brockton, Massachusetts, right? His opponent's not only never been knocked out, his opponent's undefeated. He's a 33-year-old undefeated guy with a lot of domestic matchups on his resume, but he's undefeated nonetheless. Guys, like this video. Let's get it up to 50 likes. We're floating between 65 and 85 in this live. I've been on you boys all week to like the video, and you guys have been doing it, and it's been helping. So I say thank you. I'll be adding Chop Chop to my parlay. Is he fighting too? Man, I need to get your book, dude. You're getting all of these options. I have 7 fights on my book right now, boys. Are you looking at any props or steals of the week? Of course. Of course, brother. I'm not getting options yet, though. You know they're coming, brother. You know they're coming. It's my Wednesday. You guys in America, it's your Tuesday. Are we becoming fiends, guys? Is this a time that we all need to have a chat? Are we becoming a little bit of crackheadish? Motherfucker, I got them props for you. I got them knockout prop. Like, it's Wednesday though. It's only Tuesday night out here. The fight's on for another. I got these props for you. I got these cheeseburgers. I disagree on the Jono fight with you and won. Yeah, playa. Good hit with the props, but lost with Johnny. It's all about finding a middle ground or not betting at all. Nice. Yeah, and you know, I only had, and you guys knew this going into it. Whenever I feel it's a 50-50 fight, you guys asked me half unit, full unit. You guys knew I only had call them on one ticket. I'm not going to take that. If it's a fight that I'm not, I'm not convinced a lot with any of these fights, but if I'm really torn on like a guy who's stepping up versus a guy who's already been there, he's not. Colin Murphy was on one ticket. It was him, it was a method of victory, him on points, and Pierce O'Leary. And then good for us, and hopefully you guys learn this. If we have 3 fights in a row, guy, this is a good time to talk about this. Let's say there's 3 fights in a row, and I've given you a ticket with all of those 3 fights in a row on it, and the first fight loses. What do you think I'm going to do? It probably makes sense if that first fight loses to then create a double on your own with the next 2 fights. So that happened last weekend. We had Colin Murphy, Pierce O'Leary, Kakachi. Colin loses. Then I did Pierce O'Leary and Kakachi and posted it. And people were still like, where was that ticket? I didn't see it. Guys, my job isn't to spoon feed. My job is to educate. So moving forward now, it doesn't happen a lot, and I don't like chasing. But when Colin Murphy was only on one ticket and it just set up that way on that card in Ireland, Dublin, you sometimes have to think for yourself. Like Johnny said, he has Colin, he has Pierce, and he has Kakachi. Colin lost. You got to think Johnny's probably going to put in another ticket with Pierce and Kakachi. I don't, that's kind of like makes sense. I don't teach chasing though, and in that sense, I didn't think it was chasing. It paid off, and we hit. Damn, bro, it's good to have you back. I haven't seen you in months. Yeah, so Boxing Fan was literally our first guy ever in the Discord, and he was there in the savage days, the infancy days, August, September, October. Those first 3 months were a learning experience for all of us. And we only had like under 100, maybe 200 people in there. And it was getting, dude, I didn't know we didn't have any moderators, and we were just learning on the job. We are almost triple. Well, we're at 435, and there's no trolling that goes on. We got the systems in place now, and everything takes time. Miss you, brother. Good to see you, man. Hello, Johnny. The Adamas method of victory ticket is full unit. Yeah. Yep. It is. Plus 180. Plus 180, man. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And I told you that I'm taking Adamas. The reason why I'm leaning Adamas on points, and I've given you reasons, the layoff, his style, but I'm banking on ammo being durable and tough enough to last the fight too. Like even though I'm picking ammo to lose, I'm leaning on the fact that, he's going to be good enough to go the entire fight. King Ty, what's up, brother? What's up, King Ty? Yeah, I don't get the Geo hate. You're preaching to the choir here, man. Gio Vasoli, I like what I see. I remember watching sparring of his in America. I've been, Gio Vasoli's been on my radar for a couple years now. I like his size for the division. There's certain things about young prospects that I look for, and attitude is one of them. Like that sort of boxing marketability attitude. Like, does this kid feel like he belongs in every room? I've never seen Gio Vasoli look or feel out of place in a room. That goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's him talking shit to Carmel Moten and they're going back and forth, or him being interviewed after a feature fight in which he excelled. And this is what, when you're in the game, you've been around boxing your whole life, this matters. How a guy acts and how a guy reacts and how he presents himself in different rooms. Anybody could look good in your house. You know what I mean? Anybody could look good in a room filled with people who love you. But how do you hold yourself in a foreign room? How do you carry yourself in a room of people who question you, who doubt you? And he's ticked all those boxes for me. I'm excited about Gio Vasoli. I favored ABJ to win, but I try to get saucy and bet the draw, brother. You're a draw hunter. We got those in our group, man. You guys are slick, though. I'm jealous when those come through, too. I want to. Where's Chilltown at? You know what rule we have to make in the Discord, and you guys asked for this rule for me, and I've abided by it. So there was a time where, and this is all a learning process, and I don't know how we would govern this, but I think it makes sense. There was a time in the early days of our Discord where I would post tickets that I didn't post publicly. We're watching a fight, so-and-so wins by knockout, boom. My ticket, I picked them to win by knockout, and people were like, bro, I didn't see the ticket, and if you didn't post it beforehand, don't post it after. And so I've think about it. I made that adjustment. Every ticket now, we've gotten a lot more organized. I give you a list before the fight start. Hey, these are the 7 tickets I posted. Check your Patreon, check your YouTube. This is the list of the 10 tickets I posted. And so, you know what to expect from me. But TJ will post, like this past weekend, some of the boys hit a draw. Maybe it was the weekend before. And it paid. And then he'll post. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm only giving you half love right now. Because I used to give you full credit. This is not just TJ. I'm just using him as an example. I want to see that ticket before the fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the move. Is like if you're not posting the tickets, because at least for me, it makes sense for me because it's our community. You guys get to see everything, my wins and my losses. I think it would make sense for some of the boys so they don't feel like inferior, because some of the guys, it's easy to build a brand. It's kind of easy to build a facade of the type of success you have if you just post your wins. You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe that, and I think that's kind of a wise rule in terms of transparency, because anybody, going into a fight, you're not telling anybody who you're taking. You sprinkle something on the draw and it hits, and then you post after it hits, and then you look like a G. And it's like, okay, how many of those draws did you miss on though? Was that your 70th one that you picked? And then on the, you know what I'm saying? So it's all a learning curve. But sprinkling on the draw, man. I've never picked a draw, and obviously, how can I win if I've never picked a draw? So I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Not saying I won't. Some of the girl fights, going into the girl fights, I've seen odds that have been very tempting. I think some of the boys nailed, was it maybe a Serrano, Katie Taylor? There was a fight on that card where going into the fight, the draw was like 7-1. And a bunch of the boys in the Discord smashed it beforehand, and then it hit. And then Nick, shout out to Breaking Bad. I've seen Nick post a draw before the fight starts and then it hits. But it's just one of those things where, like, how many draws do you have to hit? How many draws do you have to lose before one hits? I'd love to see Cuba versus Moten too. Me too. I think they're probably going to fight again in the future. What's up, high interest? What's up, high interest? We still good. Ammo over. I'm taking the points, brother. I'm taking the points. So, yeah, there's Nick right there, my guy. For me, the action is the juice. I'm in. Bronco knockout. God damn it. Let's go. Let's see what those odds are looking like. So here's the difference real quick, boys, so we could have a little bit of so you can have a visual of what these odds are looking like. If you like, we did this yesterday. Okay. So the three options for Bronco, Carlos Adames. Adames on the money line is $1.31. That's a 31% return. 100 on Adames gets you your money back plus $31. Now, that's a parlay piece. I'm going to add that to some tickets. I'm investing in Adames to win this fight. Now, from there, if we're going from the safest to less safest to the most riskiest, and you're all on Team Adames, the safest is the Adames on the money line for obvious reasons. The second safest is actually the knockout at plus 130. Now, and then the third safest is the points. This all has to do with where money is coming in and where money is coming out, right? And these lines have not moved. I got to be honest with you. I'm actually pretty shocked that Ammo Williams is only a plus 280. That's insane to me. I do not put Ammo Williams in the same category of a boxer as Carlos Adames. At plus 280, that's not even a 3-1 dog. I think Ammo would be like a 5-1 dog here. I just got to be honest with you. There's nothing in his tape. Like, when you dissect how he operates, what he wants to do, what his strengths are, versus all the other stuff what Adames does, they're not on the same level. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know, dude. Maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, the odds haven't moved. And Breaking Bad likes the stoppage, and I can see the stoppage. That's why I'm like, dude, hopefully Adames is tough enough, or hopefully Ammo's tough enough to last the 12. But, you want a stressful weekend? Here's a stressful weekend. Put money on a decision. I've done both. Obviously, it's the game. It's the place where we live. You might not agree with me, but I feel it is so much more stressful betting on a decision, dude. I've heard both arguments from both sides that it's more stressful betting on the knockout. But for me personally, if I'm betting on the knockout, I'm a hopeless optimistic by nature. So if it's a 12 rounder, I will still be as confident in the 12th round that a knockout would appear as I am in the first. And if I'm betting the knockout, I think the knockout's going to happen in the first exchange. So, like, at least my stress, the letdown won't occur until the very ends if the knockout never transpires. But when you're betting the points, you are hanging on to every exchange, not just every round, every exchange, hoping that there's not a knockout, dude. It's a very stressful game to play. I never thought I'd be, this would be the third week in a row. And remember I said patterns. This is me maneuvering through a pattern of my own, seeing how successful I could be at it. Jai Apataya on points, pattern. Arnold Barbosa Jr. on points, pattern. Carlos Adames on points, pattern. So you see what I'm saying? And it's important to recognize these things. I like the Ammo over. He's dangerous in the beginning and does fade later in the fight and looks sloppy. And the reason what I feel about Adames is he doesn't necessarily. I'm not. If a guy like him hurts you, he's going to get you out of there. I mean, what? Look at 18 knockouts. What is he? 20? I'd have to look at that. But I've also seen him cruise. I've also seen him be up a lot and get on the defensive and use the entire ring and not force things. So I'm hoping, perfect world, that you have to think Ammo's going to jump on him early. It's what he does. And when you watch Adames fight, he has no problem with giving, being down 2-0, 3-0 in the first few rounds. It's how he kind of moves. It's his motion, the young kids would say, in a 12-round fight. And then then you could literally see Adames turning the gears up. Now, I'm hoping that Ammo doesn't exhaust too much energy early, jumps to a lead, gets down in the mid rounds. It gets close and tied up somewhere around 7 or 8. And then Ammo just starts to disappear and break apart, and then Adames breaks him down late. I could see that happening too. So it's called gambling for a reason, boys. It's why we do this, though. Guys, we're 50 minutes in. We're approaching 70 and 90. The last 3 live streams, we've had over 50 likes because you guys are actually savages. Could just like it and let me know how you're doing. We got questions coming in. I think so too, bro. Let's go. A win for Ammo would be going the distance. Another thing, man, and I don't mean to sound hurtful in this next comment or unempathetic, but when I watch Ammo give his media, this is how I've always felt with him. Something has never sat right with me with the rhetoric he uses about himself as a fighter. I always have questions about him when the water gets deep in a fight based off of how it's almost like sometimes I feel that he's just excited to be here. And when you're boxing at the world level, just being there is not good enough. I've always doubted him because of that. So, that does kind of worry me about him getting stopped a bit. You liking a late KO? I can see that happening. Yeah, I can see it happening too. It is a great fight. This is another hot take, but I know I'm going to get, torched for this one, but I like Jaime Munguia. I'm a Jaime Munguia fan, dude. I've liked him since I liked watching his career. I always like guys who are learning on the job. This guy has developed, and thank God that the urinalysis test came back to be a false positive. But him getting stopped in his hometown against Bruno, who only had 3 knockouts, was a slip up that could derail anyone's career in front of your home crowd, dude. The mariachi bands and everything, and you get knocked out, dude, because you got lazy on the outside, you lost focus, and you got stopped by Bruno. And then he puts his hand up and wanted to get back, and then he boxed well in the get back. He was switched on the entire time, and this is a tough fight. Now, Resendez, did Caleb Plant underestimate Resendez? You gotta think so. Resendez is scrappy. Elijah Garcia stopped Resendez. I know people are going to start doing their triangle theories here. And Bruno stopped Munguia. It's a fun fight. It's a fun fight, guys. I think Resendez's game is a bit more tighter. It's not as wide. It's not as long when he punches. At least that was the best version we ever saw of him with Caleb. Is he with Abel Sanchez? Manny Robles, another great coach. Manny Robles is a great coach. So before Tim Tszyu linked up with Dr. Pedro Diaz, Cuban coaching legend, I thought the move for Tim Tszyu would be either Manny Robles or Abel Sanchez in terms of like what his style is, what he could add to his game. But yeah, Armando Resendez is in good hands. Munguia is Freddie, right? Did he stay there? I like when guys, sometimes when guys leave, it's all good. I know he's coming off of a win. Is he still with Fred? Eddie Reynoso and Freddie. Previous stints. I have to look. I gotta look. Before I give you we'll wait till fight week. If the Resendez from Plant comes, it's over for sure. That Resendez against Plant was just so. Everything just looked like he had leveled up in a way that, like, as boxing fans, we have to question things. Am I the only one who was watching Armando Resendez thinking, like, this dude's gonna piss hot? Even the physicality, his dude came in bodied up in a way that, like, we really haven't seen him like that before. At the weigh-ins, I'm like, God damn, dude. He was like, we should have saw it coming. I just didn't think it would happen. The Plant fight. Dude, watch the weigh-ins and what Resendez looked like. He looked like a different guy, and even like how he was carrying himself, everything was just clean and tight. And he was aggressive. The output didn't sway. I was like, dude, this dude's gonna pop for either he's popping for something or he is leveled up. So it's really tough to pick against him. But then again, man, I picked against him last fight and I lost. Patterns. Remember, guys, you gotta pick up these patterns, baby. Chop is fighting on the Pro Box card. I'm not getting any odds, man. They love Eddie. Must have like the most VIP betting book. You get all the odds. I haven't even seen these fights. Adamas decision. Ooh, Big Shadow in the house. Holla at your boy. I got these cheeseburgers. Oh, yeah, I'm just catching up to the chat, man. My bad. Everybody trying to get right. Johnny got the things. Yo, cats is crazy. Kiza, you think so? Kiza, who do you like here? Kiza, 3, 2, 1, go. George or Denny? Since you put Denny first, you're taking Tyler Denny. Bronco Damas says that fight's where he struggles like in the Gachet fight. Dude, Gachet, don't get it twisted. Terrell Gachet is an Olympian, crafty as hell, dropped Tim Tszyu in the first round. I thought Terrell was going to get Tim Tszyu out of there. Every cut got me sweating. Yeah, I'm just catching up, boys. Adamas. I feel like Gachet to upset her neck. Ooh. Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo's fighting Terrell Gachet. I don't know, man. There's nothing in Yan Lee's Hernandez. That's a tough matchup for Gachet, man. It's a tough, just like where Terrell is at this stage of his career, and the space he likes to fight at, the range he likes to fight at. He likes his fights to be a bit comfortable. He's really good and he's operating really well at his highest level when he's dictating. Yo-Yo's not going to let him do that, dude. The physicality, but Gachet's a legit veteran. The later that fight goes, bro, man, Gachet is gonna, be liver and liver, if you know what I'm saying. What's up, Rob? Carlos points wins. He moves on. Ammo will probably look good. Give him another opportunity to win situation for both. I think Ammo's marketable, and I know Matchroom. Eddie knows what he has with Ammo. Ammo, a loss to Adamas in a world title fight isn't going to be the worst thing in the world for Ammo. But why, if you're Eddie, why wouldn't you put him out there? Let's wheel out Ammo Williams. Because it's kind of like a Hail Mary. Like, imagine if Ammo went. Imagine if he lands one of those looping ass hooks and Carlos gets buzzed. And then Ammo jumps. We have a new! And you, Austin! And people will be like, what the fuck? He does kind of have that X factor to his game. Why not wheel his ass out there in front of Adamas? Adamas hasn't, been active in 2025. I just don't see. I don't think he has the. I guess it's just, I don't think he has the skill to do it. 13 months out of there, and Carlos will win and get the rounds. And this is a major talking point, 100%. We've seen this before. I mean, it. On the other hand, though, Ammo's had how many fight camps in the last calendar year? He fought. When did he fight Patrice Volney? I'm pretty sure that was last 2025. The Volney fight, the Wendy Toussaint camp, which was the first Carlos Adames camp. This camp, that. Well, he's a big dude, cuts a lot of weight. Hopefully, he's not breaking down. Resendez improved since Elijah Garcia. His style relies on if he can get hurt. I knew playing pit pad jab wouldn't phase Resendez. Damn, it surprised my punk ass, dude. It surprised my punk ass. It surprised my bank account. It surprised my winning streak. It surprised my ego. I'll see you guys.